Well, hello again everybody. We're just packing up, getting ready to leave the Ttxela Camping and Caravanning Club CS. But I just wanted to update you about the electric bikes first. I've called the bike shop in Cambridge this morning and they've basically said I've just got to take it back into them, which I suppose is about all I could say, but it's going to be a couple of weeks before I can do that. And the next Saturday after we get home, Nikki's actually got a sale at over Carnival, so it's going to be tight getting the bike into Cambridge to the bike shop for them to look at, but I guess that's what we've got to do. Now, I've also had a problem with my e-bike. I've been using it to go backwards and forwards to the tap because we're a long way from the tap, and the other day the front tyre went flat. The valve on the front inner tube was leaking, so I took the front wheel out to swap the inner tube, but while I did it, the speed sensor connector just fell apart. And it's just two wires pushed through two holes that then go around a little clip. It's a bit of a cheap, shoddy sort of affair, but eventually I was able to get that all reassembled and my e-bike's working again. So yeah, more e-bike troubles. Anyhow, that's enough of that. Let's get on to the Brecon site. So you can see from this just how big the Ttxela Farm CS is. Yeah, it's a big old field. Well, we're heading to have a look at Strumble Head lighthouse on the way, and you can see how narrow the approach roads are. You wouldn't want to take too big a vehicle down here. There we go, our first stop, the Strumble Head lighthouse. So what do you think of the lighthouse, my love?
It's lovely.
We're cuddled up under this blanket 'cause it's a bit breezy, isn't it?
It's a bit breezy.
Yeah, but the blanket's not quite big enough, is it?
For you.
No, no. But it's a lovely spot.
It's a beautiful spot.
I can't do it, folks. I can't come here and not walk over to the lighthouse. Well, actually it appears I can't walk over to the lighthouse. When we got here, I could see people walking down the steps on the island from the lighthouse, but I guess they must have been on some sort of official business, because, yeah, it's all locked up again now. There is actually a sign here saying you can't access it. Maybe they were Trinity House people, but they had the look of people who were just visiting. Dunno. Anyway, doesn't look like I'm going to get across there. Well, that's your lot for Strumble Head. Let's get on the road to Brecon. Well, we've arrived at the Brecon Caravan and Motorhome Club site. I've chosen a grass pitch so I can put the awning up easily. I put it up with the driveway strip on because we might have to drive the van out to go out for the day since the electric bikes aren't working, or rather Nikki's isn't working. Well, unfortunately, I've got a bit of a tear in the awning now. I caught it on the step when I was putting it up, but I've still got this clear duct tape that I used to fix the headlight in Scotland, so try a repair with that. There we go, Alex's invisible mending. It's as good as new. Well, it's the next day now. I think it's Wednesday today. And our plan today is to try out our new inflatable kayak that I got from Decathlon. Now, we couldn't run to a fancy one, so it's the fairly cheap and cheerful one. You have to dry out thoroughly before you put it away. So we'll see how we get on with it. Now, I was hoping, because the Brecon Caravan and Motorhome Club site is right near the Brecon and Monmouth canal, that we'd be able to launch direct from the site, but it doesn't appear that we can. It's quite a long walk across the dual carriageway to get down to the canal. So I've looked on the British Canoe Union's Paddle Points website, and it looks like there are a couple of places a little bit further away where you can sort of launch your kayak. So we've chosen one of them, and we're going to decouple the van from the awning and head out to find that paddle point after we've had some breakfast. Well, we have made it to the canoe launching point, so let's get that inflatable kayak out and see if we can work out how it all goes. Well, there we go, lovely. Actually pretty easy to put up. Yeah, no hassles at all, and yeah, looks pretty good so far. The kayak came with 3 small plastic fins which had to be slotted into the bottom. They help with the tracking to help you go nice and straight. I got in first to try and steady it so Nikki could get in more easily. And the best thing about this is she can't see if I'm paddling or not. Our initial impressions were that we were quite pleased. We expected it to be a little bit harder to paddle than the rigid sit-on tops, but wasn't really noticeably so, and two of us in the same boat seemed to work well. We were a little bit concerned we might be clashing paddles and such a little bit, but yeah, it all seemed to go rather well, really. There are a number of these lovely stone bridges. The arch on this one was collapsing a little bit and it had to be supported with some steels. This was a nice aqueduct over the river. I think there's a couple of aqueducts on this canal. We are in the bridge under the road. Well, not the bridge under the road. We are under the road. The canal's under the road. We're in the bridge that the road goes over the canal. Isn't it lovely? And we're coming now into the town of Brecon itself. And here we are at the Brecon Canal Basin, where we're going to stop for a while. We're back at the campsite now. Didn't really take anywhere near as long to get back to where we launched from because we were going with the current and the wind. Now, everything I've read and heard about these kayaks indicate that it's really important you dry them out thoroughly before you put them away. We had to deflate it a little bit to get it in the van to bring it back, but I've re-inflated it now, taken the floorboard thing out, and now we're going to dry that outside till it's properly dry. Having said that, I guess we might use it again tomorrow, so you know, but the point still remains, you have to get them properly dry before you put them away. Well, there we go, we've both had a bit of a shower, both feeling quite tired after all that kayaking really, so I think we're just going to settle down and have a quiet evening in the van, and then we'll decide what we're going to do tomorrow. Well, today we've decided we're going to go back to that same launch point we used yesterday, but we're going to explore up the river the other way. And I think not too far up there is a pub we can stop at for refreshment before we paddle back. Well, the spot that we parked in the day before was unfortunately full. I think it's quite often used by groups kayaking on the canal. So we had to move down a bit and we ended up setting off more or less where the pub was that we'd intended kayaking to in the first place. But we got to see a different part of the river at least. And what fantastic weather we had for kayaking on the canal. Very, very nice and sunny and calm and still. And yeah, just nice to be drifting along amongst the trees. We saw very little other traffic on this section.
Oh look, like a bridge that goes down.
So I think we're going to turn around here. It's either that or get out and open the bridge or get out and carry the kayak round.
Depends what you want to do, Alex. I'm staying in here.
Oh right. Yeah, we'll turn around and we'll head back the other way.
Wind the bridge again.
Yeah, Nikki was quite tired after the previous day's kayaking efforts, and to be honest, I was feeling it a little bit as well. So this was a bit of a shorter trip than the previous days. So just before we got back to the van, we stopped at the Royal Oak pub. Nikki had a glass of Pimm's and I had a shandy and this lovely waffle with ice cream. Well, that's about it for our stay at the Brecon Caravan and Motorhome Club site. It's been very good. We've not shown you much of the site, but to be fair, it's just what you'd expect from a caravan and motorhome club site. The facilities are all very good, very clean. But yeah, we've really enjoyed taking our inflatable kayak up and down the canal. And tomorrow we're packing up and we're off to the Caving Club annual barbecue at Penwith.